Hey, welcome to episode of Chad's Beer Reviews with Alan from One Flight Down up there in Canada. What's
Hey,
going on,
everybody.
man?
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
All right, so I don't think I've ever reviewed this beer on the show before. I've had it many times, like at German restaurants and stuff, but I'm pretty sure I've never had this on the show. This is from, I don't know if they pronounce Erdinger or Erdinger. I don't know. I would just say Erdinger.
I've always said Erdinger. Yeah, that's a good question, though. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. That's always how I said it.
Anyway, I poured mine into my 20-ounce glass, and it looks like a pretty typical half. It's actually pretty clear coming out, and then it took me a few pours and top-offs to finally get it so that the head fizzled away, and then I can get the I don't know, it's kind of got like that hazy IPA kind of look. It's funny, like years ago, these used to be like considered like super hazy, but like now today's hazy IPAs are like way more hazy than these.
That's true. And I don't know if it's the glassware we're using or what, but like mine's got way more head. Like,
yeah, and it might be because you're using a bottle and I'm using a can. So I don't know if the can is can fermented or if it's force carbed. So that might have something to do with it too.
This one says secondary bottle fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe that changes it up a bit. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I've ever had it out of a bottle or a can. I think I've only ever had it on tap before.
Let's give it a whiff. Yeah, I get like the typical banana aroma. I smell like actual like wheat and it's not so much bready.
Okay.
Or at least like not as like deeply kilned as like the Dunkelweizens, which I actually prefer over these, but
it smells really clean to me. Like I do get that banana note, and I get some kind of like a little almost like a peppery kind of a spice note in there.
Do you? Yeah. That's that's pretty normal because it's probably some kind of noble hop. I get it like a tiny little bit of like a vanilla or like a bubble gum or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, bubble gum I can get. I can get a sense
just
of
like
bubble gum there.
Kind of a hint of sweetness like that, or almost like a if there is such thing as like banana juice, Yeah, this is not as aromatic as most. Like actually I have a few other ones right here, like Franziskaner, Paulaner, Weihenstephaner. Those are usually a little bit more aromatic than this one. Okay. Let's see how it tastes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, I've had this beer many times, and I've had other beers from this brewery. And one thing I always notice about Erdinger beers compared to like these guys is that Erdingers tend to be noticeably more mild. And I am noticing that on this one too. Although I will say, like, this is actually probably the most flavorful Erdinger Hefeweizen I've ever had.
Okay. I find it really smooth. Like the mouthfeel on it's super smooth. Almost a creaminess to it, which is a little bit of a surprise. Like, it seems to have a little more body, I think, than I was expecting it to have, or what I remember it having.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, this is 5.3 ABV. I assume yours is the same, right?
Yes, it is 5.3.
Yeah. So I mean, 5.3 is. It's kind of that weird void. Up until about 10, 15 years ago, 5.3 was considered a pretty strong beer.
Yeah.
And like now it's like light beer compared to like today's IPAs and imperial stouts,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I quite like this. I think when I used to order it on tap, like a lot of places serve it with like an orange wedge, and you get that little bit of a citrusy note in there. So it's interesting to have it without that, because I always kind of associate that little bit of a citrus touch to it to being part of the flavor, but that's just the garnish, really, right? Like, because on its own it doesn't really have that.
I'm not a huge fan of putting orange in beer. except maybe like Blue Moon, because Blue Moon's like really mild.
Yeah.
Although Blue Moon's a Belgian white, not a hat, but that's the subject for another sermon, you know. Yeah, kind of like what I was saying before is I usually find that Erdinger is pretty mild, but this one is like a little bit less mild than usual. Yeah, like you mentioned, a creaminess. I definitely agree with that. That's probably it's got to be from the wheat, because like wheat gives it like the soft, kind of rounded texture. That's like actually a lot of hazy IPAs they use wheat to haze it up and give it like that kind of creamy mouthfeel.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, this one is not super bready. It's more like the taste of just like the unkilled wheat, unkilled malt, you know. It doesn't like, I don't really, do you get like a toast or bread crust or anything on this one?
I was gonna say like more biscuity than bready. Like there's just like that touch of that, but it's just not, I don't know, there's a little sweeter than breadiness, I think.
You know, it's funny, like a month or two ago, I did a poll on my channel, and I was like, when we say biscuity, like, what do we mean? Do we mean like KFC biscuits, or do we mean like how the British call biscuits, you know? Or like there's a certain type of malt called biscuit malt, you know?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't see that one. Yeah, I always think of it as like a tea biscuit almost. Like it's
like the British kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like almost
that's
like
a little sweeter, I think. Just a touch of sweetness.
Yeah, like a snickerdoodle cookie, but without like the cinnamon. That's one thing. That's why I like the Dunkelweizens better than the Hefeweizens, because like those like tend to be like really bread. They're like straight up like banana bread, almost like a little cinnamon, or like a toasty like whole wheat crust kind of character to them.
Yeah.
This one's kind of plain Jane.
Yeah, it's nice. It's it's like a nice patio beer, nice summertime kind of drink. Yeah, I think if I want something in a similar kind of style, I want a little more flavor, and for that, I kind of think more like your Belgian styles, because some of the notes we're getting in this, I've noticed in a lot of Belgian beers that have that kind of, like you said, the bubblegum kind of note on the nose, and you know, some of that banana note and stuff. I find a lot of Belgian beers have that, but it's just a little more oomph to it than this.
Yeah. I do notice that this does have, like you mentioned on the nose, like a slight kind of spicy hop, and like that does come through in the taste, because there is like way in the background there's like this zippiness to it, like a slight, like it's a subtle spiciness. I mean, it's got to be like the yeast phenolics, you know, but like when it's really strong, like in some of these beers, like it'll come through as like clove. And I wouldn't really call this beer clovey. It's more like just straight up. It's not even really that banana-y either, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I actually get like a little bit of orange on this one.
Okay.
Are you getting any kind of citrus?
I don't really get much in the way of citrus. Like I find that it's got like the banana note, but it's very subdued.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Yeah, and there is like just a little bit of a zip up front that maybe like that would be similar to something with a little more of a citrusy taste to it. So maybe got an element of that. But I think it's kind of like all the elements you get with this kind of beer, which are like the banana note, the clove, but just like really tamped down a lot. And it's much more serviceable. You can give this to just about anybody who doesn't normally like that kind of thing, and they'd still like it, I think.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. This is actually kind of comparable to Blue Moon, even though they're different styles.
Yeah.
Looks
a little different, but very similar taste, I think.
I would say for 5.3, this has like a lot of body. I'm not even go as far as say like medium full.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm surprised how much body this has. And like I said, it's got that creaminess that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yet there's still something about it that feels like a light summer beer.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of body to it.
Yeah. I think it's just like that wheat like really fluffs it up, thickens it up, you know. Yeah, I would call it like medium to medium full body, a really soft, smooth texture,
Mhm.
borderline creamy. Carbonation's fairly high.
Yeah.
It does like the aftertaste is kind of like a little bready, but also a little like I get like I mentioned orange before. It's kind of almost like a if you ever had like orange juice concentrate, like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
like like the aftertaste of OJ concentrate or something like artificially orange flavored,
Yeah, it's funny because earlier when you said orange, I wasn't necessarily getting it, but as soon as you said in the aftertaste, I'm kind of getting what you mean now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
incepted it into your
it's
head.
more artificial, I think, than anything else. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is there. It's a pretty pleasant aftertaste. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say there's nothing to dislike about this beer, but like I said, I've had better and they're all right here. So on the scale from 1 to 10, I would give the Erdinger Weissbier. This is like a solid 7. It's good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's good. It's like, thumbs up, but it's not like my first choice.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair rating because yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this beer,
Mhm.
other than like I just might want to switch to something with a little more flavor after, like just yeah.
Yeah.
But for something like with this much body, it's quite crushable, really. Like I could
Yeah.
sit and have a couple of these, no problem. Like it's pretty decent.
Are you going 7 out of 10 too?
Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I think I don't normally rate my stuff, but I think
Mm.
that sounds about right. Like it's not. I'm not going to rave about this to people, which would be 8 or higher. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
7 would be about right. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that does it for our review of Erdinger Weissbier. If anybody knows if it's pronounced Erdinger or Erdinger or what, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And you'll see me and Alan in a podcast up there, down there, somewhere. I don't know.
Somewhere.
I remember
All
when
right.
YouTube used to have like everything was above the video, and then they moved it to the
Yeah.
side, and like now it's below. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so-
mean, I think you can move them around now too if you really wanted to get into it. But
yeah. All right. Well, thanks to One Flight Down for joining me, and we'll see you for the podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.
There's a difference between a lunch beer and a dinner beer. This is a lunch beer.
Yeah, absolutely.